After an off night last night, the Prowlers will need a bounce-back effort if they're to earn a split with the Elmira River Sharks. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Prowlers fell 5-1 to the River Sharks last night after beating them 5-1 a week prior in Elmira. And the River Sharks came into McMorran Place with a vengeance, and they scored 5 unanswered goals to take the game last night. Prowlers need a bounce-back effort, and they are still missing some key pieces. We'll have it all for you on the PHP Network, and the pregame show is coming up next. Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Welcome back to Port Huron for the second game of the weekend between the Prowlers and the Elmira River Sharks. And before we get you set for tonight's game, let's take a look back at last night's game. And it was the same result as a week ago last night. The road team coming in and winning 5-1, except this time the road team was the Elmira River Sharks as they took down the Prowlers 5-1 yesterday, scoring 5 unanswered goals after Austin Federley opened the scoring. Marquis Grant Mentis got what turned out to be the game winner in his River Sharks debut. Davide Gaeta had a couple of helpers of his own, and Sammy Bernard was the real story in between the pipes for the River Sharks. 46 saves on 47 Prowlers shots as the River Sharks snapped a 5-game losing skid. And those 47 shots for the Prowlers, the most in a loss this season, third most in any game overall in the 2023-24 year. They had 16 shots in the second period, which is tied for their third most in a second period this season. They had 20 in the third period, which is their most in any third period and second most in any period this season. But no matter how much rubber they threw on Sammy Bernard in those last two periods, he stopped it all. Again, giving up just one goal, and that came all the way back in the first period to Austin Federley. And that gave Elmira a big win and took the wind out of the Prowlers' sails, as not only did the River Sharks snap a 5-game losing skid for themselves, they also snapped the Prowlers' 4-game winning streak. That pulls Elmira just a little bit closer to Watertown. River Sharks just 6 points out of the final playoff spot in the Empire Division now. And meanwhile, the Prowlers still looking behind them. The Mississippi Seawolves took the Columbus River Dragons to overtime last night, so Mississippi now all of a sudden just 1 point behind the Prowlers for that third spot in the Continental Division. So tight standings in both the Continental and the Empire, especially as you look at that 2-3 as well in the Empire between Motor City and Danbury. They are just 4 points away from each other. But we talked about Marquis Grant Mentis, who in his River Sharks debut scored what turned out to be the game-winning goal. He has 3 goals in 8 games so far this season. The other 2 goals coming as a member of the Baton Rouge Zydeco, and he had 2 goals in 2 games with the Zydeco earlier this season. And he made a strong first impression last night for Elmira. Meanwhile, for the Prowlers, they saw another streak snapped. It was Liam Freeborn's 9-game point streak, which he had 9 assists, 14 points during those 9 games. It's the second longest point streak for a Prowler this season. Just 1 game shy of Brandon Picard's 10-game point streak that he opened the season with. That lasted from in the game 1 in October all the way to December the 1st. Liam Freeborn's 9-game point streak lasting through just about the entire month of January, from January 5th to January 26th. Prowler's longest active point streak belongs to Tucker Scantleberry, which is 7 games, although he sat out multiple games during that time for various reasons. But that started back on New Year's Eve, and it still is active technically because he's had a point in each of the last 7 games that he has appeared in. So still an active point streak for Tucker Scantleberry. He won't be in the lineup again tonight, as he is Evan Foley still dealing with their injuries. Mitch Jones, of course, still suspended. So the Prowlers are going with what I call the House League special: 2 centers and 3 sets of wings up front. Paul Arnott moves back to defense. Prowlers running with 7 defensemen tonight. And that's really the big change, is Arnott and Alex Johnson will be paired together with Braden Deck listed as the extra defenseman. That top line staying together for the Prowlers. Meanwhile, Dan Chartrand will join Tristan Sim and Vinny DeCumbis on the second line. Sam Merritt and Dalton Jay will act as the bottom pair of wingers. And we'll see if the Prowlers can get something going here tonight. They'll also have a new goaltender, as Ian Wallace will step between the pipes for Port Huron, as we're just waiting for both teams to hit the ice here at McMorran Place. We have the referees out there right now, and just waiting for both teams, as the Prowlers, who dominated the River Sharks last weekend with a pair of victories, a sweep at First Arena, now have to try to avoid being swept here in their own barn by the last place team in the Empire Division that just picked up its 10th win of the season. And in just moments, you see them, the River Sharks, taking the ice. In just moments, we'll send you down to ice level for the starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers. And we will do that for you now.
Prowler Spirit, presented by CL Spirit. Ashland. Haley. Jen. Kimmy. Maddie. Paige. Serenity. And Shauna. The Prowler Spirit are coached by Amanda McNabb, and the CL Spirit director is Kristen Barlow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for tonight's starting lineup, presented by Orthopedic Associates. At board, number 15, Kristen Sim. At forward, number 77, Sam Merritt. At forward, number 92, Dalton Jay. On defense, number 18, Dalton Young. On defense, number 74, Adam Heinzel. And
Sarah Dent on the anthem again tonight from McMorran Place ahead of the Saturday contest between the Prowlers and the Elmira River Sharks as they get the quick ceremonial puck drop. They get people from Cortiva AgriScience, who is sponsoring a non-perishable food drive here tonight, which will be donated to a local food bank by the Prowlers coming up this week. So nice little gesture from Cortiva to sponsor that and help the team out with that. For the first time this season between these teams, we see a different goaltending matchup, at least on one side. Ian Wallace will be between the pipes for the Prowlers, making his first appearance since January the 6th in Carolina and his first start since January the 3rd in Mississippi. His last start was a 33 save victory over the Seawolves. Meanwhile, Sammy Bernard back at it again, the workhorse for the Elmira River Sharks, made 46 saves last night in the River Sharks' victory over difficulties. In case you missed the starting lineups for the Prowlers as they work on fixing the ice in front of the Prowlers bench. In case you missed the starting lineup for the Prowlers, it's going to be Tristan Sims, Sam Merritt, and Dalton Jay up front, with Dalton Young and Adam Heinzel on defense, and Ian Wallace in between the pipes tonight for Port Huron. As there's a bit of a speed bump down in front of the Prowlers bench after a bit of a Zamboni-related issue earlier in the day. They're trying to fix that just inside the Prowlers zone. So don't worry, you didn't miss anything during our little technical difficulties, but I got a good look at it before the game tonight, and players were skating out for warm-ups and the linesmen were telling them to watch out and try to avoid it. They seem to have fixed it as best they can, and we'll see if that becomes a factor at all tonight. As we're just about set to go, River Sharks starting with Wilson, Vartiainen, and Gaeta, with Powell and Asp on defense, and Sammy Bernard in between the pipes. Tristan Sim, Elijah Wilson, set for the opening face-off for this Saturday game. And we're underway. Asp turned it over to Jay. Quick shot, blocker save by Bernard. Prowlers test Sammy Bernard early. He's up to the task on that one. Gaeta able to work it out, but the Prowlers take it away. Young looking towards Jay. That was touched through by Wilson. Powell rims it up the wall. Vartiainen plays it off the boards and out. Glove down by Wilson. Stymied there at the line. And this time Wilson able to dump it in. Oh, right off the linesman. Ian Wallace went behind the net to try and play it. It hit the linesman, and from up here it at least looked like it may have been bouncing towards the crease. No harm, no foul though, as the Prowlers begin their first change of the hockey game. Here's Mark Pozar. Watched by Federley, the only Prowler goal scorer last night. That one lofted down the ice. Young back for it. Darius Davidson flying in on him. Little spin move from Dalton Young. He moves it up to Graham, now on to Federley. Trying to send it back towards Young. It was tipped behind the net. Graham curls, sends it deep towards Federley. Comes all the way around to Freeborn. Pozar takes him into the wall. Freeborn up the boards. Graham sent it back deep. Pozar trying to work it towards his winger. Johnson steps in front of that pass. They'll try this side. Paul Arnott, who's back in a defensive position tonight, gets in on the forecheck. Short trans shot steered aside by Bernard, and then Freeborn's centering feed taken away by Davidson. He tried to find Klink, who was hanging out at the Prowler blue line. That pass didn't connect. Davidson centering feed, and Wallace has it underneath him. As they had some trouble with it behind the net, and Davidson found Blake Peavy driving in front, and Ian Wallace with a tough first save of the night. Just over 2 minutes in. Wallace, of course, again seeing his first action in just about a month, or exactly a month to the day from his last start. As it bounces to Markle, sent it back towards the cage, and right into the breadbasket of Ian Wallace. After Tucker Tynan had a bit of an uncharacteristic night last night, 27 saves on 31 shots, saw his personal 5-game win streak come to an end. Prowlers look a different direction in the crease here tonight. Stephen Ford sauces it across to Markle. Tried to move it along. Now Schumacher looking the other direction. Pass to Chartrand, gets through him, and goes all the way down for an icing. So another whistle, another face-off. Come all the way down into Prowler territory. Karageorgis and Sim get set for the draw. Can expect Tristan Sim and Matt Grant to see a lot of ice time as Graham Mentis fires that one wide. They're listed as the two centers. Sam Merritt can play a little center himself. So that puck got deflected out of play. Plenty of mixed lines. And if you're just joining us, Prowlers dressing 8 forwards, 7 defensemen tonight. They still have to dress one short due to Mitch Jones' suspension. The way it was listed and told to me, it was 2 centers and 3 sets of wingers. So we'll see exactly how they play it all night long. No Chris Paulin behind the bench tonight for the Prowlers. So we'll be up to Matt Graham and Alex Johnson to run both sides. Cycle deep towards Gaeta. Curls in the corner on Adam Heinzel. Heinzel lost his stick. Powell at the point. And his shot deflect wide. Jay tried to chop it out. Asp able to keep it in. Comes to the point. Vartiainen over to Powell. Soft wrister towards the net, blocked by the stickless Heinzel, and he gloves it on to Sam Merritt with a legal hand pass in the defensive zone. Good play by Adam Heinzel. Prowlers finishing up a change. Federally couldn't get it in. Now Wilson chasing after it. He's around the net, off the boards. Gets it on to Davidson at the red line. Outside shot rose high. Klink kept it in. Now Johnson up towards Federley. Fires it out to Freeborn. Has Sim coming with him. Freeborn drops to Sim. Back across, and he couldn't connect as Klink got his stick in the way. Deck floated one towards the net that just missed. And puck sent all the way back down to Prowler ice. Deck quick up towards Freeborn. He tips it out. Davidson looking to step right back in. Gets around Johnson. Centering feed just out of the reach of Klink. Cody Rogers jumping in from his defensive position. Sees the puck come over to the near side wall. Johnson out towards Chartrand. They dig away right in front of the Prowlers bench. Davidson, Graham in there as well. Pops out to Freeborn. Liam Freeborn gets the red line. They'll actually cycle it back to Schumacher instead of dumping it deep. Quick up to Graham, touches it in. Bernard tried to keep it moving over to the near side, fanned on it a little bit. But Ford able to work it up to Grant Mentis, now on to Karageorgis. Schumacher and Kara Georges come together in the corner. Grant Mentis out to Parker, and Wallace just got a piece of it to ride it out of play as Brett Parker was looking for his third goal in as many games against the Prowlers. We'll take a timeout. No score yet from McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people. They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. 14:33 to go in the opening period. Prowlers facing a defensive zone faceoff after the stop by Ian Wallace. Kara Georges' line still out there for Elmira. He wins the faceoff back, and the shot kicked off of Parker, who was heading towards the crease. Parsons able to steal it from Grant Mentis and send it out. Forward back up to Marquis Grant Mentis, who took a bump from Brian Parsons. Those two dropped the mitts last night. And we see no love lost. Schumacher back for it, turning on Kara Georges. Fires a pass across to Parsons. Enters offensive territory, drops to Graham towards the net, deflected out of play off the stick of Vinny DeCumbis. Now it's the Prowlers' turn for an offensive zone faceoff. Just over 6 minutes played in this opening period. Shots on goal favoring Elmira 4-2. Prowlers had the first two shots. River Sharks have the last two. Or last four, excuse me. Sent out by Vartiainen. Gaeta trying to kick it along. Sim comes out for it. Heinzel. His outlet pass cut off by Wilson. Gaeta trying to turn the corner. Gives to Wilson. His shot popped up in the air off a stick. Lands for Powell. But Jay did well to take it away from Kyle Powell. And the turnaround shot by Vartiainen. Easily gloved and handled by Ian Wallace. Prowlers get the top line back out there, and Paul Arnott, again in his normal defensive position, playing alongside Alex Johnson tonight. Graham and Wilson on this face-off. Graham able to push it out to Federley. He gets into offensive territory, sends it down towards Graham, and he just tipped it wide. Johnson rims it all the way around. Arnott comes in for it. Arnott around the net, tried to center. Comes back to him, gives to Johnson. Shot blocked. Vartiainen moving the other direction. Johnson right on him. He won't let Larry get any kind of play off. Wilson down to Gaeta from the outside. Caught Wallace up high. He's able to make the save. There's Powell. Wrists it through. Deflected, score! Davide Gaeta right in front of the net. Got a stick on the Kyle Powell shot. And for the first time, Elmira opens the scoring. Davide Gaeta with his first goal against his old team, his 12th of the year and 9th as a member of the River Sharks. He gets the first one here tonight. Good deflection, nice hand-eye as Kyle Powell floated it towards the net. Elmira's had the better of the offensive zone time so far. Prowlers trying to change that, but they're currently in a delayed offside situation as Sim touched that puck as he was trying to kick it along. I'm not sure if he knew if it was offside or not. The faceoff will come outside. Kyle Powell and Larry Vartiainen picking up the assists on Davide Gaeta's goal. Gaeta had a couple of assists last night, now picking up a goal here tonight. Vartiainen had a goal last night, and now he gets an assist. Peavy to the point. Pozar rims it all the way around. Chartrand after it, tried to chop it along. Rogers knocks it out of the air. Parsons to his deep partner Schumacher. Centering feed ends up on Klink's stick as DeCumbis was trying for an outlet pass. Rogers right through the slot. Ends up on the other side. Then DeCumbis makes a nice play to poke it out. DeCumbis still working on his man. Pushes him to the ice. That was Klink, who's still trying to get to his skates with the puck underneath him. And it's caught up in his equipment, so they'll blow the whistle and find it later. Vinny DeCumbis gave that puck right to the Stephen Klink in the middle of the ice. And the Prowlers catch a break as he didn't get a shot away. It was almost that close to 2-0. Off the faceoff, Jay Johnson, the one-timer. That was blocked. That was Ford that got in the way. Merritt taken down, and a penalty is coming up. So it took a while to get our first penalty last night, but not quite as long here tonight. Prowlers have 6 on the ice in the delayed penalty situation. Heinzel looking to turn the corner. He gives it over to Alex Johnson. Prowlers still in their own zone. Now they work out. Johnson into offensive territory. Stops up. Now around to Merritt. Jay, catch and shoot, and he missed the net. And Parker will touch up to get the whistle and the penalty call. High sticking is the signal from the referee. And Marquis Grant Mentis, the guilty party. Prowlers will go to the power play first. Their first quality power play of the night after they were 0 for 1 last night. Adam Fish, the referee, making the call. He's out there with Paul Jean. Dallas Mitchell and Brian Thurnauer are running the lines here tonight. Rasmus Asp trying to do it all himself, surrounded by black jerseys. And Jay hands it to Federley. There's Tristan Sim. He'll skate out, but he pushed it too far ahead of him. And Blake Peavy delays and backhands it down. Federley behind his own net. He'll step out. Leaves it for Sim. Up to Jay. Prowlers enter the offensive zone. 45 seconds already gone on their power play. Graham pulls it out from the scrum behind the net. Tried to feed it out high. Didn't get all he wanted on that pass. And Parker plays it back to Pozar. Prowlers will switch up the unit as Pozar sends a lead pass on for Wilson, who dumps it in. Wallace backhands it up the far side. Johnson off the boards, taken away by Wilson, but he put it right on Liam Freeborn's stick. Freeborn with a quick shot kick save by Bernard. That's the Prowlers' first shots in about 9 minutes as Freeborn drops it off to Young. Here's Johnson with a wrist shot blocked by Davidson. 25 seconds left on the power play. Chartrand leaves it for Young. Fed it across to Johnson. Now down to Freeborn. Johnson, wrist shot, scooped up by Bernard, and he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Chartrand knocked down by Ford. I'll see if anything comes from this. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, 13 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. .13 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. 8:53 left in period number 1. No additional members of either team going to the sin bin during that TV timeout, although Paul Jean was handing out warnings at both benches. Off this face-off, Graham picks it up, tried to center. Powell gets down to block it. Final seconds ticking off the Prowlers power play. Federley works it up high to Deck. Wrist shot goes wide off a couple of bodies. Back to 5-on-5 as the pass to Freeborn off a leg. Federley over to Deck, walks in, shoots, deflected, and Bernard was able to get a piece. Federley back towards the net, knocked down. Freeborn in front, Graham jamming away, comes to Federley, he scores! Prowlers all over the front of the net, and Austin Federley cleans up the garbage on the back door. We're tied at 1. Goals in back-to-back games for Austin Federley this weekend. As Freeborn tried to put it out in front, Graham was jamming away. It slipped to the back post, and Austin Federley all by himself, sliding down the backside, taps it home. His 10th of the season. Ties this one up. Chartrand looking forward to Cumbus. Artiainen took it away. Schumacher picks up the loose puck, but he lost it. Now DeCumbus finally able to control it, but his pass off his skate, and it stays in. Wilson down to the ice. Now DeCumbus moving the other way. Muscles off Rogers. DeCumbus down low, looking for the stick of Chartrand. Couldn't find it. Frank Schumacher behind the net. He'll step out. Beat it up. And it's dumped back in by the River Sharks. Freeborn and Graham picking up the assist on Federley's goal. So Liam Freeborn trying to start a new point streak after his 9-game point streak was snapped last night. There's Dalton J. saucing it across to Heinzel. Tried to find Merritt. Pass was behind him. Markle off the boards, rims it up in Davidson's direction. His pass lands at the skates of Peavy. This ends up on the near side. Davidson centering feed, kicked away by Dalton Young, and Johnson starts the rush the other direction. Wrist shot blocked by Markle. Johnson gloves it back down. His pass to Heinzel eludes him. Ends up back in Prowler territory. Looks like Alex Johnson taking a shift up at forward, which is not completely foreign to him. He'll head off to the bench. Young sent down to the ice. And now the River Sharks with a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Pass across to Davidson, eluded him. Freeborn and Federley digging away. Federley chips it past Powell. Graham able to get it out. Maybe we'll see some Alex Johnson up at forward. He originally broke into the FPHL as a forward with the Brewster Bulldogs. Didn't switch back to defense until he came here to Port Huron a couple of seasons later. And of course, he's been a staple on the back end ever since. Sim almost stole it from Bernard behind the net. Brett Parker was behind everybody looking for that pass. Wallace rimmed it around. Deck moves it up to DeCumbus. Dumps it in softly. Bernard will scoop it up and hang on for a whistle and a faceoff. And now Dan Chartrand getting into some extracurriculars as the three River Sharks surrounding him all wanted a piece. Chartrand and Asp getting nose to nose with a linesman in the middle. And now Brian Parsons with some words for Rasmus Asp. That penalty to Grant Mentis seems to have turned the tide a little bit. Even though the Prowlers didn't score on the power play, they did score immediately after, as it looks like Bernard has an equipment issue that he'll have to deal with on the bench. So we'll get a quick delay. But the River Sharks had taken 7 straight shots right before the Grant Mentis penalty, and then the Prowlers got 2 on the power play and finally put one home after the man advantage. And including that goal, the Prowlers have each of the last 6 shots in this game. Port Huron leading in the shots category 8-7 right now. 5:36 left to go in period 1. Both teams with a goal. And again, Alex Johnson up there at forward playing with Sam Merritt and Dalton Jay on this shift. We had a little bit of a throwback for Prowlers fans last week when we had Jeremy Skiba join the broadcast, and now another throwback. We see Alex Johnson lining up as a winger. Bernard all set to go. He'll skate back to his goal crease as Merritt and Kara Georges will take this face-off. Jay to the point to Parsons. Rims it around. Johnson and Pozar come together behind the net. Merritt out high looking towards Deck, but they couldn't connect. Deck hanging out behind his own net as his team starts the breakout. Johnson quick up towards Jay. Kara Georges took it from him. Long range shot catches the glass. Rogers towards the net. There's a River Shark down in Prowler territory over on the near side. It's Parker. Meanwhile, Prowler's trying to spring Johnson, and as Rogers cut off that pass, they'll blow it dead. Brett Parker still writhing around down the Prowler's end. Prowler's trainer Bridget Smith going to check on him. I didn't see what happened. It was something away from the puck as he was battling. We'll take a timeout as they check on him. 1-1 our score. Under 5 to play in period 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! Back here at McMorran Place, under 5 to play in period 1. Brett Parker seems to be okay as he's back on his bench. Paul Jean having a conversation with Cody Rogers and Austin Federley during that TV timeout. You see them over there now in the referee's circle. Face-off is going to come just outside of River Sharks territory, as that's about where Rogers collected the puck when they blew the whistle. Now we're all set to go. It's Graham taking the draw against Wilson. Comes over to the near side wing and forced back over to the boards. Freeborn centering feed looking for Federley. Gaeta got his stick down. Graham tried to give it back to Federley, but he has to find his stick. Graham in front. Federley got his stick back, but he couldn't get all of that puck. Wilson the other way. Rims it around. Schumacher trying to pull up with the puck. Now he and Gaeta come together. And pops out to Federley. 4 River Sharks back, and Federley will dump it in. Prowlers get a change. Ford curling behind the net, watched by guess who, Dan Shartrand. Those two fought last week. Meanwhile, the River Sharks have just iced the puck, so they won't be able to get a change, and Stephen Ford will have to come back out onto the ice. Not sure Elmira completely agrees with that call. Currently, we see 6 River Sharks on the ice. And now Gaeta is being forced back to the bench, and Stephen Ford will go back onto the ice. And eventually we'll figure out whether or not these were the 5 River Sharks on the ice for the icing. I don't think so, because there are 3 defensemen out there for Elmira. Ford, Rogers, and Asp. And Rogers will get a quick change. Well, here's Asp with a drive. That was blocked down. Chartrand and Davidson digging for it. Chartrand couldn't get it through Powell. Now Peavy. Davidson batted at it off the side of the cage, lands behind the net. Comes out high, Asp to Powell. Wrist shot gloved down by Ian Wallace for a whistle. 3.5 to go in period 1. Defensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers, but that's the first shot for Elmira in quite a while. About 10 minutes of game action since Ian Wallace has had to make a save. 8th shot of the period for the River Sharks. As Powell lost it. Parsons looking to move the other way, but Klink able to put it back into Prowler ice. Lead pass on for Graham, has Freeborn joining him, sauces it across, but able to get back was Blake Peavy. Parsons from the line sent it through. Freeborn collects behind the net, gets it out high again to Deck. D to D, Parsons. Federley in front looking for Graham. He turns around and swung at the puck, and Asp didn't like that. And a crowd gathering next to Sammy Bernard's crease. Everybody separates, and both teams will get some changes ahead of this face-off to Bernard's right. Sam Merritt and Sartorios Karageorgis will slide in for this face-off. Looks like Johnson, a fixture on this line with Dalton Jay and Sam Merritt. So as the Prowlers started the game with 7 defensemen and 8 forwards, it looks like Alex Johnson is now making it 9 forwards and 6 defensemen. And instead of having the 2 extra wingers in Merritt and Jay, Prowlers have Merritt as the 3rd center and Jay and Johnson as his wingers. Graham Mentis slides it out. Kara Georges dumps it in. Rogers and Deck after it. Deck working it up towards Johnson, taken away by Kara Georges. Rogers has his back to the net, trying to turn. Still with the puck. Rogers all the way around the net. Finally, it's taken off his stick by Parsons. Parsons knocked to the ice. Merritt comes in, throws a hit. Rogers trying to dig that puck free. Finally, Merritt does, and he'll skate up ice. As Johnson and Jay with him, Merritt towards the middle of the ice, looking for Jay. A penalty coming up against MJ Markle. Boarding the call as he took out Sam Merritt after Merritt made that pass, and the Prowlers will go to their 2nd quality power play of this hockey game with 2:02 to go in the first period. So another chance on the man advantage. 0 for 1 so far tonight, but that power play did create some momentum, and the Prowlers did end up scoring while the puck was still in offensive territory at the end of the power play. They'll have to play a little defense, but Federley uses his hips to take down Davidson and get the puck back. Federley trying to curl away from Davidson, who's right on top of him. He's able to kick it to DeCumbis. And Vinny DeCumbis skates out. Drop pass for Sim, quick up to Jay. Bernard will dump it out himself, but it's gloved down by Dalton Jay. DeCumbis to Graham in the corner as the Prowlers set up. Federley at the top, down towards Graham. Head up, looking for a pass, but a sliding forward able to block it. And that one off a stanchion. Federley collects it center. 50 seconds gone on the Prowlers' power plays. They get some changes going. It's Freeboard working on Ford. They'll rim it up the wall towards Chartrand, fresh off the bench. That's taken by Wilson and sent down the ice. Under a minute to go here in period 1. Johnson quickly to Merritt. Fires it across in Young's direction. No, pokes back out to center. Johnson. Watched by Peavy. Gets it to Freeborn. Freeborn drops it off to Young. Now across to Johnson. Plenty of bodies in front. He'll send it deep to Chartrand with 24. Power play set to expire 2 seconds before the period does. Peavy dumps it out. Johnson knocks it down. River Sharks want a high stick on Alex Johnson, knocking that puck down. They won't get it. Johnson back in. 7 seconds to go in the period. Johnson with 3. Just has to shoot it. He does. Stopped by Bernard. And he'll cover up for a whistle with half a second to go in the opening period. So we'll have one more face-off before the opening 20 minutes expires. Oh my God. Prowlers trying to load up on the face-off. Prowlers getting set for this face-off. Again, half a second to go in the period. River Sharks trying to figure out who's supposed to be on the ice. Prowlers get one shot on the power play. Sim tried to force it towards the net, couldn't get it there, and that's going to do it for the opening 20 minutes of play here in Port Huron. Prowlers and River Sharks knotted up at 1 goal apiece. Shots on goal favoring the Prowlers in that first period at 9-8. And each team coming away with the goal. Coming up in the first intermission report, take a look at the top plays from the month of January for the Prowlers. Also take a look at the storylines around the FPHL, including a bombshell coming down earlier today, just a couple of hours ago. And we'll look at all that, break it all down. Also take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, the game stats, and we'll do it all during the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network, as the Prowlers and the River Sharks head to the dressing rooms to chat about those opening 20 minutes. There were some penalties, again a goal apiece. Both goaltenders also coming up with some good saves. Well, Valentine's Day is coming up, so get the styles you'll love at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. The store features lace-up sweatshirts, midstalls, team issue apparel, and more, with new merch coming in all season long. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game all season long, or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. And you can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your boho best with gear from the Prowlers team store. First intermission underway, 1 goal apiece between the Prowlers and the River Sharks. We'll step aside, and when we come back, top plays from the month of January. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed, until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Ozar has it again, the Hungarian, up to the Swissman. Gaeta, his pass stolen by Johnson. He's in, score! Alex Johnson picks the corner, and the Prowlers have doubled the lead with 3:16 to go in the third.
Great set of hands by Alex Johnson. I talked to him before the game. I said, if you get a chance to drive to the net, you take that shot. Great set of hands to get right to the offensive zone and weave around the D-man.
Jay tried to move the other direction with it. Holt kept it. Quick shot by Colton. Stopped by Tynan. Colton gloves it down at the line. Gave it away. Here's Jay on a breakaway. Score! Dalton Jay, short-handed, restores the 3-goal lead for the Prowlers. Colton tried to make the pass across the blue line, and that will be the second unassisted goal of the period for Port Huron, as Dalton Jay was all over that. Gave it up to Foley. He'll bounce it off the wall, head after it. Milam got there first, but Foley takes it. He scores! Evan Foley, short-handed goal. Prowlers up 2-0. Milam got to the puck first, but Foley ended up coming out with it, and he beats Babin to the glove side. The second short-handed goal in as many nights for the Prowlers. It's typically one of those you see Trevor Babin able to easily glove. Here's Spinsov in. Good save by Tynan. He doesn't know where it is. It's behind the net. Drops back out in front, and Tynan sits down on it, and he'll cover up. Tucker Tynan shut down the first one and eventually was able to find the puck to sit down on it and get a whistle. Lead pass on for Klink out of his reach. Dalton Young will gain some speed. Here comes Young, makes a move to the middle, drops for Jay, score! Dalton Young made that one happen, and Dalton Jay put it away, make it 5-1 Prowlers.
You know, back in 1920, Dalton Young might have been one of my top 3 favorite Prowlers to watch. He's so creative with the puck, another great offensive defenseman.
Sneath dangling in, makes a couple of good moves, and Tynan makes not one but 2 saves on TJ Sneath. Sneath just slithered right through the Prowlers defense. Tucker Tynan able to get the pad down though. And Chartrand right in on him, trying to lift his stick, and it's poked in by Scantleberry. All the way around the net, harassed by Nilsson. Scantleberry taking another trip around the offensive zone. He'll send it towards the net. They score! What a tip by Dan Chartrand as he puts it to the top corner. Scantleberry sent it on goal, and the Prowlers have opened up a 2-goal lead. Good things happen when you put the puck on net. And a skillful deflection from number 21 in white. He has goals in back-to-back games. Puck will die short of the icing line, so Gingrich forced to play it. At his pocket pick, Chartrand to the backhand, he tucks it in! What a play by Dan Chartrand, picking Gingrich's pocket and then tucking it home around Rosenzweig, and the Prowlers have a 1-0 lead. Gingrich just a little too lackadaisical in front of his own net. Chartrand with a nice move to the backhand as Rosenzweig went for the poke check, and Dan Chartrand has his 3rd goal of the year. But the two guys who lead the team in shorthanded goals, and here comes Barr, 2-0 with Lynn. Barr to Lynn, what a save by Sokolov, sliding across, he has it, and he'll hang on for a whistle, robbing the 2-0 as Connor Lynn was looking for it on the back post. Barr took away a pass, went the other direction, found Lynn, that was the right play, but Sokolov comes up with the big save. And Federley wins it back clean. Jones to Johnson, jumping in deep, and just hopped over his stick. Scantleberry winds down low, one more, score! Another beautiful feed from Austin Federley. This time it's Liam Freeborn on the receiving end. Power play goal puts the Prowlers up 3-2. A quick pass down deep to Federley from Tucker Scantleberry, and the unselfish play one more across. Liam Freeborn at the yawning cage. Tic-tac-toe from the Prowlers. Welcome back to Port Huron. First intermission underway, and the Prowlers and River Sharks are tied up at 1 goal apiece. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And before we take a look back at that opening period, let's take a look around the FPHL. We start with our out-of-town scoreboard, and we begin our trip down in Winston-Salem, where the Carolina Thunderbirds scored each of the first 4 goals of this game. They have a 4-1 lead heading into period number 3. Jacob Schnapp has a pair of unassisted goals. And after Carolina won in overtime last night, they're trying to complete the sweep of the Hat Tricks, who took a Commissioner's Cup from them. Carolina went to Danbury last postseason, up 2-0 in the best-of-5 series after winning both games there at the NX. But unfortunately for the Thunderbirds, could not complete it as the Hat Tricks won the championship last year. Thunderbirds looking for a little more revenge here in the 2023-24 regular season. They're up 4-1. Blue Ridge Bobcats, after smashing the Baton Rouge Zydeco last night, are tied 0-0 heading into the second, as Greg Hussey and Owen Liskowitz were perfect through the opening period. They just began period number 2 there in Wytheville. They're just about to wrap up period 1 in Columbus. The River Dragons and the Mississippi Seawolves are tied up at 2. And finally, in Watertown, the live stats aren't working, but I'm looking at the live stream right now, and the Motor City Rockers have a 2-1 lead on the Watertown Wolves. And if the chat is correct, Nick Gullo has scored his first as a Rocker, the former Elmira River Shark. Of course, here it is 1-1 between the Prowlers and the River Sharks. Take a look at some storylines around the FPHL. We reported this one yesterday because it came down very late on the transactions, but we'll talk about it again. Matthias Tellstrom traded to the Blue Ridge Bobcats from the Baton Rouge Zydeco, and those two teams facing each other right now. And he had 10 points in 10 games with Baton Rouge after being traded from Port Huron, where he began this season. So an interesting deal between the Zydeco and the Bobcats. And I don't see Tellstrom. I do see Tellstrom actually making his Bobcats debut tonight in Wytheville in that game. The big story today, though, Joe Pace Jr. releasing himself as a player on waivers from the Mississippi Seawolves. He'll still act as the CEO, director of hockey ops, still the head coach down there. But he released a video today explaining his absence, wants to take more time for his family. He talked about putting his family ahead of his hockey. So we'll see. This may be the end of one of the most legendary minor pro hockey careers, maybe one of the most legendary minor pro sports careers that we've ever seen. And if this is the end, certainly the fans here in Port Huron appreciate his long time here, and the fans in Mississippi certainly appreciate him coming to Biloxi and starting the team there and bringing their Sea Wolves back. But that was the big story, the big shock that came down earlier today. Also going on today, Donald Olivieri, who scored a hat trick last night, was placed on the IR by the Binghamton Black Bears. Turning our attention back to our game here tonight. 1-1 our score. Prowlers up on shots 9-8, and what was a relatively low event opening period. Saw a couple of penalties from the River Sharks that they were able to kill off. But the Prowlers, after a not so hot start with Elmira controlling play for a while and getting that first goal off the deflection from Davide Gaeta, Prowlers came back and they got the momentum after going on the power play for the first time. They spent the final about minute and 15 seconds in the offensive zone of that power play, and then they continued to get offensive zone time immediately after the man advantage ended. And that's when Austin Federley was able to slide to the back door and tap home the loose puck to tie this game up at 1. And that's where we stand as both teams are getting set to step out onto the ice for period number 2 here at McMorran Place, the second of 2 games this weekend between the Prowlers and the River Sharks, who hopefully just about 90 seconds away from puck drop as the referees have hit the ice, but still waiting on both teams to get there. And leading the River Sharks onto the ice is Eli Bowers. I'm not sure if there's something going on with Sammy Bernard. He did have a bit of an equipment issue that was looked at during that first period, but Bowers leading the charge for the River Sharks onto the ice. So maybe a goaltending replacement to begin this second period for Elmira. Looks like Bowers will be the one heading over to the goal crease. As the Prowlers hit the ice now, Ian Wallace sliding into the goal crease to our left. Let's give you the PHP Network trivia question. Why don't we? Prowlers facing the River Sharks for 4 games in a row. This is the 4th of 4 in a row against Elmira. 2 last week, 2 here this week. When was the last time they faced the same team 4 straight games? Put your answers in the comments section and we'll give you the correct answer before the start of period number 3. Well, it is Bowers sliding into the goal crease to our right. I do not see Sammy Bernard, did not see him step onto the ice at all. So he's not on the River Sharks bench as far as I can see, and that is a mystery to me as to why. Meanwhile, Ian Wallace is back in the goal crease to our left. He made 7 saves on 8 shots in that opening period. Tristan Sim and Elijah Wilson will take this face-off to begin the Hungry Howie's second period, as both teams getting set to go, and we're underway. Wilson watched by Dalton Young. Take it in by Heinzel. He takes the puck and gives it to Chartrand. Chartrand gets the red line and dumps it around. Sim after it. He'll get there first. Tried to leave it off, but Wilson was right there to take it. Powell lofts it towards Vartiainen. One hands it along, but Young turns it the other direction. Area pass to the near side ends up on Asp's stick. Now Wilson fires it across towards Powell. Asp off the boards. Elton Young giving it over to Heinzel. Quick up to Graham. He finds Chartrand, who softly bounces it off the boards. Rogers first on in his own end. Forced all the way around the net by Graham. Arnott comes in on the forecheck on Vartiainen. And Arnott has the puck in the corner. Worked over by Peavy, tried to center, hopped over Graham's stick. And Vartiainen lops it out all the way down, and that will be icing against the River Sharks. Just a minute 19 into period 2.
You may have received an emergency alert on your cell phone a few minutes ago regarding a police situation and instructing everyone to shelter in place. That situation does not affect this building or this immediate area.
So Matt Graham and Blake Peavy getting set to take this face-off. As they make an announcement here at McMorran Place. It is pertinent to the fans here. I won't repeat it on the stream. As Schumacher's shot stopped by Bowers and Arnott ripped the rebound wide. All Arnott tried to feed it up, turn back the other direction. Arnott staples Rogers to the glass. Klink tried to work it out. Freeborn makes a nice move, gets it across Federley, forehand, score! Second of the game for Austin Federley, what a move! And the Prowlers take the lead. Nice move by Liam Freeborn to get the puck and get in a position to even make a pass across. Then Austin Federley with all kinds of time. Forehand, backhand, forehand, and he tucks it around Eli Bowers. Gives the Prowlers the lead just under 2 minutes into period number 2. And Liam Freeborn picking up his second assist of the night. We mentioned earlier on that he lost his 9-game point streak, which leaves the longest active point streak for the Prowlers at 7 by my man Tucker Scantleberry sitting right next to me. Austin Federley with his 11th of the year, and he's officially on hat trick watch. Ford gives it to Davidson, quick shot knocked down by Wallace, and he has the rebound as well. Darius Davidson trying to get his team back to a tied score. Frank Schumacher and Liam Freeborn picking up the assist on Austin Federley's second of the night. Young plays it around towards Chartrand, off the boards and out. Markle over to Stephen Ford, cross corner dump, Young after it. Young to Decumbus, back up to Dalton Young, works his way in, Chartrand down low. Bowers had a little trouble with the rebound. His defense able to clear it away though. Kara Georges behind the net. He steps out, backhands it along, glove down by Heinzel. Now Ford turning. Had to take it away by Chartrand. Cycles it to Decumbus. In front looking for Graham. That got all the way through. Young will collect it back at center in front of a couple of River Sharks. Graham lead pass on to Freeborn. Toe drags, floated it towards the cage. Federley picks it up on the other side, but his back pass off the stick of Graham, and Kara Georges back out. Now Federley flies back to throw a hit, make a defensive play. Freeborn back in. Graham toe picked as he was heading towards the net. Freeborn chasing back after the puck behind the net. Kara Georges off the glass all the way down. And the River Sharks have iced the puck. Prowlers coming out into this second period with all kinds of jump. Another good shift from the top line for Port Huron. In their first shift after the goal. Sam Merritt's line out there. He'll take the draw with Kara Georges. Tired group of River Sharks on the ice. Prowlers hoping to make them pay, but Elmira able to work it out quickly. Kara Georges with a long-range try, scooped up by Ian Wallace for a whistle and a face-off. The face-off coming to Wallace's left. That is his second save of the period. Frank Schumacher gives it up to Dalton Jay. Johnson hustling after that puck. He'll get there ahead of Powell, try to back pass in front. Didn't get above the goal line. Or not to Schumacher. Now to Johnson. Backhands it up towards Merritt. Puck bouncing around. It's settled down by Gaeta. His drop pass was stolen away by Dalton Jay. Jay tried to give it to Merritt. A couple of River Sharks came back to collapse on that pass. Lead feed on towards Gaeta. He sends Vartiainen in. Take it to the wall by Deck. Chartrand bangs it off the glass all the way down. And icing now called against the Prowlers. Just a few ticks. Over 15 minutes left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Another face-off deep in Prowler ice. Blake Peavy and Tristan Sim on the draw. Comes to Parsons on the boards. He'll send it out, or it's fired right back in. Braden Deck up the near side to DeCumbus. Plays it off the boards. Now Chartrand dumps it around. Sim first time behind the net. Chartrand tried to float it in front. Bowers jumped on top of it. Chartrand put another whack on. That draws a crowd. And this whistle will draw a TV timeout. 14:40 to go in period two. Austin Federley's second of the night. As the Prowlers up by 1, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people. They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. 14:40 to go, second period. Prowlers with an offensive zone face-off. Sim and Peavy getting set for it. Sim wins it back. Deck down deep towards Chartrand. Left it in the corner. Rogers looking to move it out. Chartrand right in there in the scrum. DeCumbus tried to pull it out. Sent back towards Klink. Chartrand takes it away at center. Dump it in. Pozar with Chartrand bearing down on him. Gave it away to DeCumbus. He took a check. And now moving out with it is Klink. Pulls up in Prowler's territory. Sends it deep towards Rogers. Parsons able to win that battle. Chartrand into River Sharks territory. Comes over to the near side. Graham right through the slot. Parsons tried to step for it. Davidson chips it around him. Davidson on to Clint, the one-timer, stopped by Ian Wallace. His biggest save of the night on the River Sharks' leading goal scorer. Federley back the other direction. Freeborn. Federley tried to touch it over to Matt Graham, but Bowers got a stick on it. Graham looking towards Freeborn. It slipped through the crease and just past Freeborn. Federley turned around. River Sharks dump it in. Wild sequence back and forth. Prowlers looking to move back up. Young couldn't dangle around Markle. Graham trying to pull it out behind the net. Ends up on Kara Georges' tape. He'll rim it around. Heinzel first on it there. Dumps it back deep. Federley in the corner. Bumps it to Merritt. Kara Georges stepped in the way. Tipped along by Grant Mentis. He and Heinzel in a race for it, and Adam Heinzel will win that one to get the icing call. 12:48 left to go in period 2. On one end, Ian Wallace with a great save, and then on the other, almost another goal for the Prowlers top line. Quick shot off the faceoff, stopped by Bowers. And another icing against Elmira. Let's see if this line can get things going for the Prowlers and keep the pressure on after back-to-back icings. Instead, Merritt loses the faceoff to Kara Georges. It's dumped out. Arnott and Grant Mentis came together as Arnott was trying to glove that puck down. Grant Mentis has to recollect his stick. Schumacher turns, gives it over to Arnott. On towards Jay. Into offensive territory. Tried to send it down deep. It hit off a body and it's gathered in by Eli Bowers, who covers up for a whistle and a face-off. I'll give you the numbers on Eli Bowers. 1-2 this season with an .878 save percentage and a .493 goals against average. He actually played in the exhibition game between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Played for Motor City here at McMorran Place. Ended up getting cut and eventually found his way to Elmira. Wilson dumps it in, gets around Schumacher. Puck stuck in the corner. Arnott and Gaeta digging for it, and Arnott comes out with it. The pass to DeCumbus right through his stick. Asp goes D to D to Powell. Head up looking for a lead pass. They'll go to Gaeta, who bounces it back. Led on towards Vartiainen, ends up bouncing off the corner boards and right to Wallace, who will cover up for a whistle and a face-off. And we'll get another draw, this time down in Prowlers territory. Prowlers up on shots in this period, 5-3, 14-11 for the game. As Pozar overskated the puck. I think he was more worried about the Prowler that was coming out to him, and heard some angry words, I think, coming from the Elmira bench after that. As Pozar went to collect that puck off the face-off, he looked up, he saw a Prowler bearing down on him, and he let it go through. This time he takes the shot, it dribbles in! Wallace got most of it, but he didn't get all of it, and Mark Pozar, with his second goal against the Prowlers this season, has tied things up at 2. Third of the year for the Hungarian. Wallace got 95% of that puck. It just barely crossed the line. So a brand new hockey game. Rogers dumps it in, and the net just comes off its moorings. So we'll have to fix the net down to our left. Not sure what happened there. As puck was just dumped around and all of a sudden the net was off. Blake Peavy picking up the assist on the goal for Mark Pozar. 11-11 left to go here in period 2. A tied hockey game. The short-handed Prowlers group trying to pull a split out of this weekend here at home against the River Sharks. Ford gets it over to Marco. Wrist shot goes wide. Freeborn tied up on the wall. Deck rims it around. Now Parsons up towards Freeborn. Ford turning. Couldn't get it out. Federley couldn't send Graham to the net though. Deck steps in front of that pass and it deflects out of play. It deflected probably inches over the head of a man sitting in the front row looking down at his phone. I don't think he even flinched. Be wary of flying pucks here at McMorran Place. You never know. There's Grant Mentis trying to step around Johnson. Young and Kara Georges after the puck. Grant Mentis with a centering feed off of Merritt. Johnson lost the handle. Kara Georges towards Grant Mentis out of his reach. Rimmed up to Jay. Sends it out. Kyle Powell turns it the other direction. Comes off the back wall and Wallace will collect and cover up for whistle and a face-off with 10:14 to go in the middle period. Paul Jean taking an extra look to make sure that net is secure over on our left side. Face-off win got through Grant Mentis. Sent in by Kara Georges. Heinzel behind his own net, forced out to his left. Puck was bouncing around. Parker took it away to Kara Georges. Couldn't get the shot off. As Dalton Young had his stick right there. Sim and Grant Mentis come together. Kara Georges comes in throwing the body. Parker pulls the puck free. Parker towards the net. Couldn't get a shot off on the backhand. He'll feed the point to Powell. Down to Parker. Powell again. One-timer off the post. Solidly right off the middle of the post, and it pops straight back out. Now Johnson the other way. Working on Powell. He lost his balance, and Bowers tipped over. Johnson down on the ice, net off its moorings, and we'll clean everything up when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at McMorran Place, Alex Johnson and Soterios Karageorgis to the penalty boxes. After all of that, we want to give a shout out because Tucker Scantleberry sitting next to me tonight told me it's his grandma's birthday, so we want to give a shout out to her, a loyal listener of the PHP network. Lots of great listeners up there in Canada watching us all season long. Well, we hope she has a happy birthday and enjoys the rest of this game. And hopefully she'll get to see Tucker on the ice soon enough. Nothing is going up on the big board here. We're still 5-on-5, so it looks like the penalties will even up. Let you know as soon as they come down on my penalty sheet. And now they have both Alex Johnson and Soterios Karageorgis get 10-minute misconducts for inciting an opponent. So the strong vocabulary coming out from the referees here tonight. Gaeta lost an edge, looking for that drop pass. Prowlers on the counter. It's Chartrand to the trailer to Cumbus, but it's knocked away. Wilson works up, weaving through the neutral zone, and he got a shot off, rolled down Wallace's back, and Parsons rescues it. Arnott up to Chartrand, finds it in his skates. He floats it out to Cumbus, towards Arnott again. Tried to make a move to the middle of the ice, taken away. Now Freeborn with a steal. Turning in the corner, gives it to Graham. Back pass on Chartrand's tape. Parsons pinches in. Back around the net to Freeborn. Lost it as he was trying for a little wrap. Deck keeps it in. Down the wall to Federley. Backdoor feed looking for Graham. Pass was just behind him. Deck after it again. He's able to keep it in again. Graham on the half wall. Down towards Federley. Got through. He'll chase after it. Now out high to Parsons. Deck, wrist shot blocked by Vartiainen. Deck gets down to keep it in, but they blow it dead. I think they'll call that a hand pass maybe on Braden Deck. So the River Sharks will get an opportunity to change here with 7:20 to go in period number 2. They send out Blake Peavy's line against Sam Merritt's line. Heinzel works it in. Rimming it around. Pozar keeps it moving. Chartrand stepped into Klink. Peavy and Merritt also in there for that battle. Pozar taken in by Merritt. Able to flip it towards Peavy. Merritt rims it up the wall. Young goes D-to-D to Heinzel. Just backhands it deep. Jay and Peavy lock up in the corner. Merritt and Pozar digging as well. Now it's cycled back towards Merritt. They take a hit from Pozar. They're tied up again. Chartrand with another rim up to Young. Floats it towards the net this time. Blocked by Markle. And that one hopped over Young's stick. Klink, who was hanging in the neutral zone when Young put that shot on net, starts the offense for Elmira. Outside try, knocked down by Wallace, and the rebound lands on Chartrand's stick. He sends Jay in with a step, saved by Bowers. And then Merritt slashes the stick out of Powell's hand. So the first power play of the game for Elmira coming up with 6:03 to go in period number 2. Eli Bowers coming up with a big save on Dalton Jay as he had a step working in. The River Sharks power play, which was 0 for 2 last night, gets first opportunity tonight. working at a 19.4% clip this season. Off the face-off, Federley turns and fires it the length of the ice. Rogers, Klink, Gaeta, Davidson, and Peavy out there for Elmira. Tecumseh, Federley, Schumacher, and Freeborn killing for the Prowlers. And 25 seconds into the kill, couple of clears for Port Huron, and Elmira still trying to get the power play going. Klink tried to make a move, ends up on Davidson's stick. He tried to dangle around Schumacher, who got just enough of him, and Jay chips it back out. Quick up to Grant Mentis, fresh off the bench. Return feed looking for Peavy. Couldn't find him. Grant Mentis on it again. Couple of Prowlers collapse on him. Graham hustling after that loose puck at center, but Klink will beat him there. Stephen Klink gives a pass over. Gaeta return feed, and Federley got down to block it, and the Prowlers clear again. 45 seconds left to go on the penalty to Sam Merritt. Asp will just dump it around. Wilson and Heinzel after it. Wilson on it again, trying to work towards the net. He feeds it up high to Powell. Across to Grant Mentis, back to Powell. Quick shot by Wilson, and off the stick of Ian Wallace. Grant Mentis back towards Wilson. Final seconds ticking off the River Sharks power play. Vartiainen collapsed on by Parsons. Asp taken in by Heinzel, trying to work his way to the front. Chartrand clears it all the way down. Another penalty is coming up as the Prowlers have iced the puck. And we'll have it for you when we come back. Successful PK for the Prowlers. We'll see if they're going back to it. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! River Sharks right back to the power play. Brian Parsons, 2 minutes for holding. And Elmira gets its second man advantage in just a few minutes. They got 1 shot on that last power play. Still a 2-2 game. Grant Mentis gives it to the point to Powell. Wrist shot gloved down by Wallace. He'll hold on for a whistle and a face-off. .347 left to go now in period 2. 5 seconds gone in the River Sharks power play. Powell gives it over. Wilson back to Powell. Grant Mentis, one-timer kicked out by Wallace. Freeborn trying to one-hand it. That was Heinzel, excuse me. Freeborn is the one that gets it all the way down. Bowers holds for Wilson. Now to Vartiainen. Works up the left wing side. Drops it off for Asp. Towards the net. And it sticks to Wallace. He'll cover it up and get the quick whistle for the faceoff. River Sharks making a change of the power play unit. They send out the top unit, led by Stephen Klink over at right point. Off the draw comes to DeCumbis, who backhands it out. Ian Rogers heading back after it. Now Klink. Left it for Rogers. He gives it back. Halfway through this River Sharks power play. Drops for Gaeta behind the net. Rogers. Over to Gaeta. Now Davidson touches it to Rogers. Pass over to Klink. Ramps up off Federley's stick. And now Chartrand with a chance. Bowers came all the way out of his net. Chartrand couldn't put it away. Turnaround shot blocked. And Bowers gets bailed out by his defense. Chartrand may have had a pass. He had DeCumbis going towards the net. The Prowlers can't take advantage of the gamble by Eli Bowers. 14 seconds left on the penalty to Brian Parsons. Federley and Klink come together. Klink toward Grant Mentis. He whipped on the one-timer. Puck ends up in the corner. And now Jay sending Parsons in on a breakaway. And he's stopped by Bowers. Right out of the box, Brian Parsons got a chance all by himself. And now Jay back in. He scores! Dalton Jay rips the touch pass from Matt Graham and puts the Prowlers back in front. Ninth of the year for Dalton Jay. That puts him just 5 points away from 500 in his FPHL career. That was a rip from Dalton Jay. He's usually good with the quick wrister. That time he wound up a little bit. He beats Bowers low to the glove side. Gives the Prowlers a lead with now 90 seconds to go in the second period. Parsons tried to move it along. Wilson. Graham Mentis looking for a centering feed. It's back on his stick. Wilson and Parsons again in the corner. Chipped over to the near side. Sim takes it away. Ford trying to step up, and now DeCumbis pulls it out. Prowlers have numbers, and the shot goes wide off the stick of Vinny DeCumbis. Graham and Schumacher picking up assists on that goal. Second assist for each of them tonight. There's Chartrand. Dangles around Peavy. Now to Merritt. Chartrand couldn't corral it. DeCumbis tried a centering feed that wasn't there. 22 seconds to go in the period. Chartrand floated it in front. Just hopped over Merritt's stick. And now Grant Mentis is away the other direction, but his shot eaten up by the stick of Brian Parsons. That went off the wall above the protective netting and landed back on the ice. The faceoff will come all the way down in Prowler territory with exactly 14 seconds up on the clock. Austin Federley set to take this face-off with Blake Peavy, and now Federley is removed, and Merritt will come in for the draw. And the puck ends up popping right to Federley, who's lined up on the wing. Sends Freeborn in, chips it around his man, but Bowers able to stick it to the corner. Pozar took a couple of hits. Now Pozar and Freeborn locked up as time expires here in the second period. They'll be separated by the linesmen as a crowd gathers in the corner. But after 40 minutes of play, the late goal from Dalton J has the Prowlers up 3-2 as we get set for period number 3 coming up in just about 20 minutes from now. But first, plenty going on during the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network. We'll talk about the game so far. Well, it's been an exciting first 40 minutes of back and forth action. We'll also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. We'll give you a sneak peek at the specialty jerseys for the Prowlers CL Spirit Night coming up next Saturday, a week from tonight. So stay tuned for that, and don't complain that I never show you these jerseys ahead of time. Stick around and check that out. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network intermission report. Shots on goal in that middle period, even at 10 apiece. Prowlers up 19-18 for the game. But it's the goal from Dalton J with a minute 32 left in that period that is the difference so far. When we come back, again, we'll talk about those first 40 minutes and get you set for the third. You're watching. You could be watching the Prowlers' next home game here at McMorran Place. You can secure your seats now for that game on Friday, February 9th, with puck drop scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Get your tickets at phprowlers.com/tickets. You can call the McMorran box office during box office hours, 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person at the Old Barn, McMorran Place, the way it was meant to be enjoyed. And that's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166. Scan the QR code on your screen now. Prowlers with a 3-2 lead through 40 minutes of play here at McMorran Place. When we come back, we'll chat about those first 40 minutes, and we'll do it here on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should've just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to McMorran Place. They're just cleaning up the Chuckapucks as the second intermission rolls on, and the Prowlers have a 3-2 lead over the Elmira River Sharks. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. The second of two games this weekend between the Prowlers and the River Sharks. Elmira came out with a 5-1 victory last night. Their first win over the Prowlers in franchise history in their third ever meeting. The Prowlers have come back tonight with much better jump, especially in that second period, especially early on, as Austin Federley got Port Huron back the lead with his second goal of the game, just a minute 48 into the second. And the Prowlers had their opportunities, especially right after that penalty kill near the end of the period, right before Dalton J scored. Brian Parsons got a breakaway out of the box. Dalton J had an opportunity with a step that he couldn't convert, but finally the puck ended up sliding across the ice. Matt Graham left it there for Jay, and well, Dalton Jay, a guy who would normally step in and try a wrist shot, instead just whacked that puck, and he beat Eli Bowers clean, low to the glove side. And he gives the Prowlers the 3-2 lead heading into period number 3. And there were some penalties that came out of the scrum in the corner between Mark Pozar and Liam Freeborn. 2 minutes aside for holding, and it looks like we will start the third 4-on-4. At least that's the indication I'm getting, with both of those penalties being up on the big board here at McMorran Place. Prowlers trying to salvage a split here this weekend. They ended up tied out of the first period, and looked like they may have ended up tied out of the second. They survived a couple of power plays for Elmira in that middle frame, but again, that late goal from Dalton J currently the difference. And an interesting note for Elmira, I still have not seen Sammy Bernard since he left the game at the end of that first period, and Eli Bowers led the team out. I didn't even see Bernard step onto the bench as the backup goaltender, so not sure what's going on there. As far as Bowers goes, he gave up 2 goals on 10 shots in that second period. Ian Wallace, meanwhile, on the other end, 2 goals against on 18 shots for Elmira in his first start in a calendar month and his first action in just short of a calendar month. Matt Graham and Frank Schumacher have a couple of assists. Of course, Austin Federley with the 2 goals leading the way for the Prowlers. And they'll be back in just a few minutes to try and get this win and secure the 3 points tonight and stay ahead of the Mississippi Seawolves, who have been nipping at their heels ever since the Prowlers jumped them. They gained a point last night after losing, in overtime in Columbus. And we will give you the updated score of that game with our out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also take a look at the upcoming schedule and the jerseys for CL Spirit Night coming up next week for the Prowlers. And we'll do all of that next, right here on the PHP Network.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to Port Huron. We're wrapping up the second intermission as the Prowlers still hanging on to a 1-goal lead against the Elmira River Sharks. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. And before we take a look at the numbers from that second period, let's take a look around the FBHL with our out-of-town scoreboard. We have one game that's gone final as the Danbury Hat-Tricks comeback fell just short. They were trailing 4-0 with seconds to go in the middle period. They got 3 back, but not a 4th, as the Thunderbirds sweep the Hat-Tricks in Winston-Salem. 4-3 the final. But as of note for Prowlers fans, Dustin Heading scoring his first goal as a member of the Hat-Tricks in that game after he was traded there from Watertown earlier this week. Jacob Schnapp led the way with 2 goals for Carolina. Ricard Zelenskis has the only goal of the game. Early stages, third period in Wytheville, and the Blue Ridge Bobcats have a 1-0 lead on the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Meanwhile, in Columbus, they are wrapping up period number 2. Dragons with a 6-3 lead over the Mississippi Seawolves right now. Columbus has scored 4 times in the second period. 2 River Dragons with 3-point nights. Kyle Moore with a goal and 2 helpers. Justin McDonald with 3 assists. Well, Yanni Liarakos a goal and 2 assists for the Seawolves, the Joe Paceless Mississippi Seawolves. Finally in Watertown, the Watertown Wolves and Motor City Rockers are tied up at 3 as they play in late in the second period. And from what I've seen, plenty of rough stuff has gone on in that game. But that game certainly of interest to these Elmira River Sharks. They're 6 points back of the Watertown Wolves for the final playoff spot in the Empire. Of course, here still 3-2 in favor of the Prowlers. Now we take a look at the upcoming schedule for Port Huron, and guess who's next? It's the Watertown Wolves and then the Motor City Rockers. A couple of 7:05 Friday starts and 6:05 Saturday starts. Prowlers will play the third and fourth games of this 5-game homestand next weekend against the Watertown Wolves. The game on the 10th is a Casey's Kids Zone night. You can take the ice after the game with the team, and it is also CL Spirit night, and the following week a home and home with the Rockers. But let's show you those CL Spirit night jerseys. Not the sparkly jerseys that we saw last year, but a bit more of a clean design this year. And from what I've been told from Christine Partlow, who runs the Prowlers Spirit, who are through CL Spirit, they're going for a racing theme this year in CL Spirit. So you see the checkered flags there with the CL Spirit logo on the arms. You'll be able to bid on those jerseys, but only if you're here at McMorran Place. So be sure to get here next Saturday, February the 10th, for that specialty night game. Let me turn our attention back to this game. 3-2 Prowler lead. Prowlers edging the River Sharks on shots 19-18. Both teams 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Prowlers had both of their power plays in the first. River Sharks had both of their power plays in the second. And both teams with an even 16 penalty minutes. Each team with the 10-minute the matching 10-minute misconducts. And then the 2 minutes aside matching penalties right at the end of that period. And that is where we stand, 3-2, as we get set for period number 3. Prowlers looking to close out a victory over the River Sharks, trying to make it their 3rd win in 4 tries against the River Sharks over these last couple of weeks. Both teams taking the ice now, and now we show you again our PHP Network trivia question. Prowlers facing the River Sharks for 4 games in a row. What was the last time that they faced the same team in 4 straight games? And your answer is February 11th through 20th, 2022. They did against the Carolina Thunderbirds. That was all the way back in the 2021-22 season. So you have to go back a couple of seasons for that, but they faced the Thunderbirds for 4 straight games in that February. 3 of them here at McMorran Place. They ended up facing them for 5 straight games. 4 of them here at McMorran Place, 1 at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. February 11th and 12th, they played a home and home. 1 here at McMorran Place, 1 here in Winston-Salem. And if you're not familiar with American geography, that's roughly a 15-hour drive between games. And then the next weekend, a 3-3 here at McMorran. That is your answer to tonight's PHP Network trivia question. Ian Wallace getting set in the goal crease to our right. He has made 16 saves on 18 River Sharks shots. Eli Bowers back in the goal crease to our left. He made 8 saves on 10 Prowler shots in that second period. Two aside in each sin bin. We play 4 aside to begin period 3 for 2 minutes. Tristan Sim, Stephen Klink in on this faceoff, and we are underway. There's Davidson trying to work an inside-out move on Arnott, and he missed the shot wide. Klink keeps it in at the line. Now Powell looking back towards Klink. Klink drops it off to Asp. Taken in by Arnott. Bumps it up the wall. Powell down low, looking for Davidson on the back door. He whiffed on the one-timer. I don't think that puck was in his wheelhouse. It looked like it was a little bit ahead of him. Meanwhile, the net came off its moorings as Wallace slid across. Still playing 4-on-4. Alex Johnson and Soterios Karageorgis should be stepping out of the penalty boxes after a whistle. Maybe, I think they have about 15 more seconds and a whistle until they can step out of the boxes. And they need the off-ice crew, or the ice crew, to help out with putting the net back. They'll re-drill the hole and put the peg back in. They'll check the other one as well. These pegs here at McMorran Place dug all the way down into the concrete below the ice. They have extra long pegs. And everybody's satisfied with the work. So we'll get ready for another face-off between Klink and Sim. Powell lined up right behind Klink looking for the quick shot, but Sim able to win the draw. Or not. Leaves it for Schumacher. Now to DeCumbus, stepping around Davidson. Davidson got the long reach in there to poke the puck away. That puck ends up flying out of play onto the concourse. And now Johnson and Karageorgis out of the box, and apparently they didn't get the chatting out of the way while they were sitting in there for 10 minutes, because they still have a couple more words for each other as they skate to the benches. Federley and Wilson set for this face-off. Federley gets it back to Heinzel. Heinzel back with it, over to Parsons on the right wing side. Parsons makes a couple of moves, tried to dangle through Grant Mentis, couldn't do it. And Marquis Grant Mentis will rev up the engines behind his own net. Let it on for Ford. Now Wilson to Grant Mentis. Little toe drag, went down to the ice, got back up. Parsons took him into the wall. Now Rogers and Heinzel locked up behind the net. Kicked along to the point. Wilson sliding in, down to Rogers, back in front looking for Wilson again. They couldn't connect, and Grant Mentis plays it out to center. 15 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Ford, watched by Parsons, tried to turn the corner, sent it right through the crease. Graham couldn't tip it past Grant Mentis. There is Grant Mentis with a shot, blocked partially by Schumacher. We're back to 5-on-5 as Posar and Freeborn step out of the penalty boxes. There's Gaeta. Centering feed only found Brian Parsons. Schumacher rims it up the wall. It's Freeborn working out with Graham. Freeborn with a quick shot over top of the cage. Kara Georges played it right back into Liam Freeborn. Out high it comes to Arnott, across to Schumacher. Wrists it deep, looking for a friendly stick in front, couldn't find one. Gaeta trying to stretch things out. Now Kara Georges with a breakaway, scores! Wallace got a piece, but Kara Georges ties this game up early in the third. That's his first as a River Shark, as he was able to move the puck along and find himself with a step. 17-16 to go in the third, and again, we have a brand new hockey game. Yeah, it looked like Wallace got most of that puck. You say that about the last two Elmira goals, Wallace getting most, but not quite all of it. Heinzel hustling after it. Works it up towards Johnson. On to Jay. He'll move in with speed. His shot blocked. Young on the follow-up chance, and Bauer is able to glove it down and hang on for a whistle. Davide Gaeta picking up the assist, so back-to-back 2-point nights for him. Johnson lined up right behind Sam Merritt for this face-off, but it's Kara Georges who wins it. Heinzel stepped in, but the lead pass is on for Parker, sending Kara Georges to the net. This time Wallace makes the save. Rametis looked for a centering feed that was blocked. Young steals the cycle pass. He floats it over to the other side, or Jay puts it back behind the net. Johnson off the glass and out. 2-on-1 if the Prowlers can settle it down. Here's Jay, shoots, and he caught the back glass, rose it too tall. Parsons off the boards, finds Federley at the blue line. To Graham, looking towards Freeborn, who was flying in off the bench. It was blocked by Pozar, who's trying to work it up the boards towards Parker. Now Federley rims it back this side. Pozar trying to chip it along. Now Graham hustling after it. Davidson stepped in front. Rogers and Freeborn come together. Kara Georges settles things down. He lifts that one out of play, and that will be a delay of game penalty against Soterios Kara Georges. And if you can get your money's worth on a delay of game penalty, which I've never heard of, but Kara Georges certainly did if you can, because he launched that puck from behind his own net, and I don't think it went over the glass until it got into Prowler territory. But Kara Georges showing off the long sauce, but he'll sit for two. And the Prowlers with an opportunity. 0 for 2 on the power play so far. Trying to untie this game again. Johnson down to Freeborn. Now Chartrand. Johnson stopped by Bowers. Rebound poked out to Young. Johnson. Freeborn. Now Chartrand hopped away from him. Two Prowlers collapsing on MJ Markle. They try and dig it out, but it's Wilson who does. He fires it all the way down on Wallace. Johnson gives it to Freeborn. He works back in, knocked off his stick by Ford. And Freeborn and Ford come together. Meanwhile, Chartrand trying for a backdoor feed, had Merritt there. It was blocked. Freeborn up high. Johnson halfway through this Prowlers power play. Freeborn gives it to Merritt in the corner. Johnson walks deep. Chartrand battling with Markle in front. Freeborn up high, finds Young. Tried to saucer it back to Freeborn, taken away. And Wilson looking to send Peavy in. Prowlers in the midst of changes. Peavy just causing some havoc down deep in Prowler ice. Rasmus Asp makes a pass across to Pozar. He'll wind and fire it all the way down. 25 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. River Sharks will do it again. Continuing to waste precious time. Finally, Federley will collect for one last rush on the man advantage. And he drops it back and splits his teammates. Decumbis steps around his man, flies in, drops it off to Federley across Jay, and getting a stick on that shot was Mark Pozar. As that puck flies out of play. Another unsuccessful man advantage for the Prowlers. Austin Federley a little slow to get back to the Prowlers bench. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people. They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. No shots on that power play for the Prowlers. The only shot on the man advantage was belonging to Stephen Ford on a shorthanded chance for Elmira. So 2 minutes come and go. We're still tied up at 3. Merritt turns back in. He's met there at the line by Peavy, who just gloved it out of play. And how about another delay of game penalty as Peavy juggled it and then tossed it out of play. So he'll head over to the penalty box, and the Prowlers will get another opportunity on the quality power play. You don't see that one very often. A delay of game where it's gloved over the glass. Peavy was just playing hot potato with the puck. The Prowlers back to the man advantage. Here's Graham giving it to Decumbis. This is the other unit that didn't see as much time on the last power play. Jay winds, gives to Sim, drop to Federley. Graham, backdoor feed. That was blocked away. Federley hustling to keep it in, but he can't. That puck just slipping out. So the face-off will come back to neutral ice between Wilson and Graham. Decumbis. It's over the red line, over the River Sharks blue. He finds Graham. Back to Decumbis, looking towards Graham again. Backhanded up the wall. Davidson sends Wilson in on a shorthanded break, and then Wilson blows a tire, tried to put it on net from his stomach, couldn't get much on it. Now the other direction, it's Federley. Working in with Graham, he'll pull up and wait for the rest of his team to join him. Federley down towards Graham. Behind the net to Decumbis. Out high Federley, Across to Jay, wrist shot blocked. And now Ford skating out with it. Federally back, 48 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. Ford couldn't dangle around. And it's up to Chartrand. He'll dump it deep. Merritt keeps it moving. Freeborn out to Schumacher. Johnson settles things down with 30 on the power play. Freeborn scores! That was a rocket of a pass from Alex Johnson. Freeborn settled it down, and he goes top shelf. Give the Prowlers back the lead. Alex Johnson absolutely whipped that pass over there. And what a play by Liam Freeborn. Soft hands to settle it down and absolutely rip it top corner over the glove. Power play goal for the Prowlers. They take the lead once again, 4-3 on Liam Freeborn's team high, 15th of the year. Make it a 3-point night for him. Brett Parker off the faceoff, sends it back to his defense. Brett Mentis and Barrett come together. Here's Jay back in. Prowlers looking for more. Jay has his shot scooped up by Bowers, with two Prowlers tracking it down. And then now it's Frank Schumacher and Alex Johnson with the assist, so a couple of helpers for Johnson tonight. Frank Schumacher now with a 3-assist night. Liam Freeborn on his way for first star honors. He's had a heck of a game. Braden Deck tried to dangle his way out. He's surrounded. Now Parsons gives it back over to Deck. On for Jay. Has Federley moving, but Asp able to get in the way of that pass. Deck kicks it along. Graham works around Asp. Gets it over to Jay. Looking for the pass over to Federley. Blocked by Rogers. Chipped over to the far side. Asp has players streaking, but his pass to Parker cut off by Parsons. Here's Grant Mentis back in. Shot off a stick and wide. Federley lops it in. Rogers quick up to Grant Mentis. Touched on to Wilson. Forced back and poked out of the zone by Schumacher. Nice defensive play there by Frank Schumacher. He'll head after the puck with Wilson. Banks it off the wall. Vartiainen took it. He hit Heinzel with that shot. Wilson dumps it back in. Schumacher settles things down behind the net. 9:40 to go in period number 3. Chartrand with plenty of River Sharks back. Had it knocked off his stick. Chartrand and Ford come together. Sim in there as well. It pops out for Wilson. He hustles up, and it's knocked off his stick. Gaeta. Now Wilson from the corner, stopped by Wallace, and it's dumped out by Dalton Young. Markle makes a move around to Cumbus. Left it behind the net. Peavy skates to pick it up. Vartiainen caught up to by Johnson. Markle at the red line. He'll dump it around as the River Sharks make a change. Jay turns up ice, gives it over to Merritt. Into offensive territory. Couldn't get it towards the net. Johnson back on it, turning the corner. Johnson throws it too tall. Off the carom, it's Klink. He's shown a seat by Brian Parsons. And Parsons dumps it off the glass and out. Rogers weaving through center, gives it off to Davidson. Long range shot right into the breadbasket of Ian Wallace, and he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Liam Freeborn on the power play gives the Prowlers back the lead. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at McMorran Place, 8:11 to go in period 3. Liam Freeborn's power play goal, the difference right now. It's his 5th power play marker of the year. He's out there again with a top line for the Prowlers that has done most of the work tonight. Matt Graham has a few assists. Austin Federley a couple of goals. Of course, Freeborn a goal and a couple of helpers as well. He has the puck now. Tried to make a move, ends up back with the puck. Federley stopped by Bowers. Arnott gets it back deep. Freeborn in front, Federley again, and Bowers keeps him from the hat trick on the doorstep. Couple of good chances for the Hattie for Austin Federley. Eli Bowers shuts him down. Prowlers have had 2 hat tricks this season. Last one belonging to Mitch Jones back on January the 2nd. The other one, Tucker Scantleberry in Mississippi back in November. Chartrand tried to move it along. Now Sim couldn't dangle through a group of sharks. Somebody look up what a group of sharks is on Wikipedia, and maybe I'll use that next time. Chartrand moves it in. He'll head after it. He's first on the puck. To Cumbus, looking for it in the corner, pops out. Schumacher couldn't keep it in. He'll recollect at center. Sends it across to his regular defense partner, Brian Parsons. Quick up to Johnson. He'll dump it in. Dalton J. Held up by Powell. Klink and Merritt in there as well. Puck still battled for in that corner. Johnson finally pulls it free. Schumacher shot towards the net, hit a stick. Jay's centering feed blocked by Wilson, which is probably fine by the Prowlers because I don't think it was going to get anywhere. Oh, Wilson tried a headman feed that hit Alex Johnson, who went down and was sliding on the ice. Gave him in the helmet. Oh, and the outside shot goes in from Stephen Klink. And just like that, we're tied up again. As Klink fired that shot hard from the outside. That's his first point against the Prowlers this season. And the River Sharks leading scorer has his 15th of the year. And now it's a 4-4 game. 6:12 to go in period 3. Tara Georges and Graham on this face-off. Steven Klink brings us back to even on a tough outside shot. Markle able to dump it back out. Parsons hustling after it. Now Federley walks back, finds Freeborn. Graham tried to tip it in, lands up back on his stick. Federley dumps it around. Graham trying to find Federley. It was knocked away by Bowers with the paddle. Kara Georges pulls it up. It ends up careening back towards Freeborn. The other direction, waits for help off the bench, floats a pass right on Chartrand's stick, backdoor play. Graham pushing for it. Turnaround try goes wide from Freeborn. Chartrand back on it, cycles it to Matt Graham. Out high Arnott. Over to Parsons. Dumped around Ford. Almost gave it away to Chartrand. He takes it from Posar, comes out to Arnott. Got a shot away, it was blocked. And DeCumbis has to play it back at center as that puck was bouncing. Under 5 to play in a tied hockey game. Chartrand's shot blocked again. Now Kara Georges the other direction. Walks in, fired it wide. Arnott to Chartrand, off the boards. DeCumbis turns it out. Gaeta back in. Backhand stopped by Wallace, but the Prowlers will be shorthanded. Another slashing penalty against Port Huron. 4:34 to go in the third. And the River Sharks to the power play when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast on Friday, February 9th, when the Prowlers host the Watertown Wolves. Puck drop scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Pregame show starts at 6:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. And a gigantic power play for Elmira. 4:34 to go in period 3. If you can make it out to that game on Friday, be sure to do so. Come support the Prowlers. Exciting weekend against the Watertown Wolves. All right, Schumacher off the glass all the way down, right off the face-off. That pass missed its intended target, ends up going down for an icing. So the Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off on this penalty kill. True Balance penalty kill has done its job so far. No power play goals for Elmira on their first 3 chances. Kara Georges and DeCumbis on this draw. Kara Georges wins it back clean. Powell gives it up to Klink, who has the tying goal right now. Parsons moves it up the wall. Davidson, centering feed, taken away by Freeborn. He'll try a shorthanded opportunity. Freeborn to the backhand, it slipped through the crease and popped out the other side. As the shot went off of, I think it was Ford's stick, or it was Powell's stick, excuse me, and just dribbled through the crease. Davidson and DeCumbus were driving on it. Davidson ended up sliding into the net as he tried to clear that puck out. They'll place the faceoff outside of River Sharks territory with 1:17 to go on the River Sharks power play. Schumacher turns and fires it down. Powell will watch it land. Now it's Klink giving it back to Powell. Powell steps out. Feeds the pass across towards Klink. Thatches up to it, but Johnson cuts him off. And now Graham with a shorthanded chance. Couldn't dangle around. Powell has the puck back. He'll go all the way around the net. Matt Graham continuing to waste time. Feeds it over to Dalton Jay, who has a couple of shorthanded goals this year. Jay just content to hold it up in the corner before it's finally dug free by Grant Mentis. 30 seconds left to go on the penalty to Dan Chartrand. Grant Mentis flies in. That's back on the dumped puck. Parsons finds it. And now Parsons will skate out with it. Dumps it softly around. Final 10 seconds ticking off the penalty kill for the Prowlers. River Sharks getting absolutely nothing on this power play as we're back to 5-on-5. Here's Klink towards the front. Couldn't find his intended target. Prowlers counter with 2.5 to go in a tied hockey game. Parsons, wrist shot knocked down by Bowers. And he'll cover up for a whistle and a face-off with 2:20. And guess who steps out onto the ice? It's that top line for the Prowlers that's produced most of the offense. Austin Federley still sitting on those 2 goals. And Paul Jean is hurrying up the Elmira bench. They finally get their forwards out. You see Stephen Klink slowly making his way to his position. Larry Vartian will take this face-off against Matt Graham. There's Schumacher. Freeborn just ripped it from the wall. Ends up popping out to center. Schumacher on to Graham, who touched it in. Batted back out. Heinzel to Graham. Tried to chip it along. Ended up right into the Elmira bench. A tick under 2 minutes to play in regulation. If we don't find any more goals, we'll see sudden death overtime. 3-on-3. If there are no goals in overtime, then we'll have a shootout. And the Prowlers have not seen a shootout yet this season. Wilson couldn't get that one to go as he dangled all the way into the blue paint. And I almost just gave out the worst announcer's jinx ever. Freeborn couldn't get a shot away there. Schumacher down to Federley. Graham back to Federley, makes a move, Freeborn scores! Second of the period for Liam Freeborn. 90 seconds to go and the Prowlers are back in front. What passing by the top line. And Liam Freeborn once again puts it home. And after I thought I was going to be destroyed in the Prowlers locker room after the game for an announcer's jinx as Elijah Wilson drove the net, the jinx turns out to go in the Prowlers' favor, maybe 90 seconds to go in regulation as Liam Freeborn breaks the tie. Johnson working back in, but offside's called just a little bit late. They don't like that Johnson put the puck on net, and we'll get some extras. As they announce the goal, Freeborn from Federley and Graham. 4-point night for Liam Freeborn. 3 points for each Austin Federley and Matt Graham. And you tally it all up, that top line has combined for 10 points tonight. Face-off coming outside of Elmira territory. And off the draw, it comes to Johnson. He wrists it deep. We'll keep an eye on Bowers for you. See if Elmira can get the puck out of their own end. Right now, Chartrand is on it. He cycles it to DeCumbus. Held up along the wall. Puck sitting there. Sim and Powell go down to the ice. Finally pops out for Asp. Under a minute to go. Grant Mentis couldn't chip it around Alex Johnson. Good play. DeCumbus just doing all he can to keep it deep. River Sharks 185 feet from where they need to be. 40 seconds to go. Asp turned it over. There's Schumacher. Wrist shot gloved and held by Eli Bowers with 30.8 up on the clock. And timeout called by the Elmira River Sharks. What a hockey game we have had here this evening. It has been back and forth, especially throughout this third period. Liam Freeborn has a couple in this frame, but really the story of the game has been the Prowlers' top line. We'll take you back through it all real quick. Davide Gaeta got the scoring started all the way back in the first. Austin Federley tied it up, and then early in the second, Federley got his second of the game to give the Prowlers the lead, and then that's how it's been the rest of the way. Prowlers with the lead, and then Elmira tying things up. Mark Pozar scored. Dalton J gave Port Huron the advantage going into the third. Kara Georges gave Elmira the lead, and Liam Freeborn scored his first. Klink came back and responded, and Freeborn, with a minute 30 to go, has what right now would stand up as the game winner. And the face-off deep in River Sharks territory. Kara Georges able to win it back. Parsons couldn't cut it off. Bowers to the bench. And Graham rims it around. Freeborn and Federley both on the ice and both on hat trick watch. Federley just slides it out of the zone. 10 seconds to go. Powell wrists it in off the back glass. It sits behind the net. Schumacher up the wall with three. Wilson on his backhand got it deep. They won't get a shot away. And the Prowlers come away with the victory tonight. 5-4 your final. And they earn the split this weekend with the Elmira River Sharks here at home. A dramatic game here tonight. And Liam Freeborn, the hero, with the game winner with 90 seconds to go. As the Prowlers get a chance to celebrate and head into this next week. They look ahead to the Watertown Wolves, and we'll have that game for you here on the PHP Network. Be sure to tune in February 9th. Puck drop scheduled for 7:05. Pregame show 6:50. I have it right here on the PHP Network. If you can get here, though, be sure to come out to McMorran Place as the Prowlers will face the Watertown Wolves for the 4th and 5th times this season. Well, what a game this was, and the stat of the night has to be that first line combining for 10 points. And we'll give you the 3 stars.
Number 51, Matt the second star tonight's game with 2 goals and 1 assist from Port Huron. Number 19, Austin Federley. And the third star tonight's game with 2 goals and 2 assists from Port Huron. Number 14, Leah Fremore.
And just as I was talking about how great that top line has been and how great they were tonight, they announced they sweep the 3 stars. Matt Graham, the 3rd star with his 3 assists. Austin Federley, the 2nd star with 2 goals and a helper. And Liam Freeborn, the 1st star of the night with 4 points on 2 goals and 2 assists. Frank Schumacher chipping in a pair of assists for the Prowlers as well. And in net, Ian Wallace picking up the win tonight in his first official start in over a month, or in exactly a month. His last start was in Mississippi a month ago, and he gets the victory. He got the victory that night. He gets the victory here tonight. Prowlers send their fans home happy on this Saturday. Davide Gaeta with a 2-point night for Elmira. Not enough, as this game goes down into the books. A 5-4 Prowlers win, and Port Huron picks up 3 points and secures its spot in 3rd place in the Continental Division, at least for tonight, as they will officially stay in front of the Mississippi Seawolves. But until next time, for Kim running the camera, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, either in the building or on the live stream, right here on the PHP Network.
Thank you.